So there's this old news clip that has been circulating the internet for a while. This clip supposedly shows former CNN news correspondent Charles Jaco faking live coverage of the Gulf War in front of a blue screen. As could be expected, the conspiracy blogosphere ran with this without doing any real research to determine a more logical explanation, because obviously that's not what they're going for. If you watch the video, you'll see that it's not exactly a blue screen in the background and that it actually appears to be a structure of some sort. It turns out that what you're actually seeing in the background is the Dhahran International Hotel in Saudi Arabia, where the reporters were sequestered by the Saudi authorities, as described in this 1991 news article. Now, this particular photo probably doesn't have the exact location of the broadcast outside of the hotel, but this one just might. All journalists at that time covering the Gulf War in Saudi Arabia were sequestered by the Saudi authorities, so they had no choice but to broadcast from that location, as you could see in these various clips from other news organizations. If you notice, the guys in the lower part of the screen have some blue domes in the background. These are just like the blue domes that can be seen on the roof of the hotel. They broadcasted the Gulf War coverage from these camera platforms made out of plywood. As you can see, the exterior color and the shape of the windows is an exact match of the structure seen in the background of Charles Jaco's broadcast. This is all detailed in a book called Hotel Warriors. This video is also very misleading by trying to make it appear as if Charles Jaco is recording multiple takes for a fake live broadcast, when that is clearly not the case. The alleged first take was most likely a rehearsal of Jaco going over the facts in preparation for when he goes on live TV, or it could have even been a broadcast via audio. The alleged second and third takes were edited and taken out of context to make them appear as two separate recordings, when they are actually the same exact recording, right down to the audio waveforms.
Well, Cheryl, it was almost exactly 2 hours ago when the sirens went off here in Saudi Arabia. Where we are in eastern Saudi Arabia, there was no problem. However,
let me just
there was an intercept elsewhere near the capital city, Riyadh. We've got some video.
These clips were taken from a raw satellite feed, which was obviously not intended for regular TV viewers. Anyone who had a satellite dish in the 80s and 90s could pick up these broadcasts before the networks edited the footage and applied the network logo and banner. The author of this video also mashed up various clips of the TV crew laughing and carrying on, and of course the conspiracy theorists see this as proof that these people were in no real danger. And my rebuttal to that is, obviously you watch way too much TV. People tend to have a general expectation of over-the-top drama during dangerous situations. But the reality is that most of us have never experienced such an event and have no idea how we will act in the event a dangerous situation arises. The Dhahran Hotel is right next to an airport that was being used as a military base at the time, and thus was a very likely target. This is why they were ordered to put on their masks when they were warned of possible incoming missiles. Since the so-called fake Gulf War broadcast, every conspiracy theorist now thinks that every news clip is a blue screen, green screen hoax, because apparently all conspiracy theorists are now experts at pointing out special effects, when the reality is that they can't see anything past their own conspiracy theorist nose. The most recent example is when conspiracy theorists pointed out this video of Anderson Cooper and his disappearing nose. This one is actually pretty easy to debunk because all it takes are some adjustments and enhancements using a freeware image editor. Here's an image from one of those videos. Here you can see it appears that Anderson Cooper's nose is blending into the pillar in the background. But if we adjust the contrast, brightness, and hue, you can now see a distinction between his nose and the pillar in the background. I can even do this to a better effect with video editing. Keep in mind that these are just image enhancing techniques, and that these alone cannot bring back something that was never in the source video, like a disappearing nose. Also worth adding is that when you watch a video online or even on TV, it is usually compressed in some form, and compression at times can cause artifacts, which are very common. The irony of this story is that conspiracy theorists use these as examples of mainstream media deceptions. and yet the conspiracy theorists are the only liars here, as I have shown earlier in this video.